Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I had a subscriber ask a question, and it was from the Q&As, and I just didn't have time to work it in. So I'll flip it in here, and he's basically asking about grip training, why he can't hold the bar with his Romanian deadlifts. He says his gym won't let him use chalk, so let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing. Work on skill at my crafting, and let's get into this a little bit. Alright, a couple things going on here. Again, if you're failing on your grip on lifts like this, there's things that you need to correct. That's really not acceptable. No one should be so strong on a Romanian deadlift that they can't hold onto the weight. I'm sorry, the Romanian deadlift is a weaker lift. It should be much, much lower than your deadlift. Like, I was going to say, I used to do, and even when I was doing rep work with over 500 pounds all the time, and I was supplementing Romanian deadlifts, and I rarely needed to go over about 365 to 405 on those. Grip shouldn't be a problem on that. It's going to be so much lighter than your normal deadlift, and you're like, well, I'm holding it longer. Yeah, but it's a lightweight. There's some problems with your grip going on in general. So the first thing, the chalk issue. Lifting without chalk is unacceptable. If a gym will not let you use chalk, you might be able to sue them for injuries because their policy actually causes injuries. And chalk is a necessity for preventing injuries. All right, it's not even optional. Now, that being said, they just don't want the cleanup. So find out from them what's going on there from your gym and see if they'll let you use liquid chalk, because their issue is the cleanup on the floors, and you need to make them understand that any expert out there knows that chalk prevents hand tears. That's the whole point. That's the reason you use chalk. It's not just about holding onto the bar. It's about ripping your hands, because your hands getting too moist and saturated with sweat makes them more prone to ripping when you're lifting a heavy weight. And especially if you're not using a mixed grip, your chances of tearing your hands without chalk start going up exponentially. And again, it's because the reason we use mixed grip is to prevent bar roll. Alright, that's the reason. That's the reason a mixed grip is so superior to a double overhand grip, or even a hook grip in some cases. The hook grip will let you hold on to the bar better than double overhand, but it doesn't prevent bar roll. That's why most people can still grip more weight on the deadlift with the mixed grip. Because again, the bar rolling can roll out of your hands once it starts rolling. You're using round plates. They're on free swivels, so the capacity for the bar to roll and then gain momentum that way and roll out of your hands is higher, and that's one reason you lose your grip with double overhand grip with really heavy weights sometimes. So that being said, people who are doing Romanian deadlifts should be using a mixed grip. If you're not strong enough to double overhand it, you need to use a mixed grip. Again, people who are worrying about muscle imbalances from mixed grip, get serious, guys. Come on. Stop and think about that. The only muscles that you should think might get imbalanced from a mixed grip is going to be your bicep. And I'm pretty sure most of you guys out there are doing more than your deadlifts for your biceps. Okay, I'm pretty sure most of you guys are doing some chin-ups, some barbell rows, some curls of some type. Now, if the deadlift is the only exercise you do for your bicep, then you probably need to alternate grips back and forth. Otherwise, you can get one bicep bigger than the other. But the deadlift isn't a particularly good bicep builder. It's not going to create an imbalance if you're doing superior bicep exercises to the deadlift. But that is a concern. So that's usually the only thing you should worry about. When you think about it, why would the mixed grip affect things like traps or your lats or anything when you're not contracting the muscles? Those are all static muscles as far as this exercise is concerned. They're stabilizers in a lot of ways. They get built, but you're still just pulling downward force on them. It shouldn't cause imbalances at all. This is just absurd that people come up with this. And if you're worried about it, just mix your grip back and forth. But the thing is, as far as a lot of this goes, with grip training, like I tell people before, if you're training all these exercises regularly and you don't use straps, and you're doing tons of pulling, rowing, chin-ups, deadlifts, power cleans, hang cleans, all sorts of stuff, without straps, your grip should catch up eventually. All right, and on the biggest, heaviest exercises, you might need to use a mixed grip. That's not a problem. There's a reason that people use the mixed grip. It works. It's fine. It's been used for generations successfully, and it's a good technique. Again, the only concern is going to be bicep issues, whether it's imbalances or tears or whatever else. And again, some of that can be prevented by just making sure you're locked out at the bottom. Using good technique, deloading when you start to feel connective tissue pain, because tendon tears and muscle tears don't happen in isolation. They do not happen in isolation. I've never known of a person when you asked them and think about it, who got a tear, who didn't start getting pains in the connective tissue they tore a week or two before they tore the muscle. All right, it's because people are too stupid to listen to their body. When something hurts, that's a sign it's time to deload. All right, when something starts to hurt, that's a bad thing. It's when you need to back down. It's when people keep training for weeks and doing the same thing that's causing pain in that connective tissue that causes you to rip something off the bone. That's what causes it. It very, very rarely happens in isolation. And I'm speaking as someone who has had one major tear like that over a decade ago. Voice of experience. It's stupidity that causes muscle tears. Stupidity that causes tears. Now, that being said, when we're talking about getting fatigued and losing your grip on something like the Romanian deadlift, well, you know, obviously your Romanian deadlift is going to be a lot lighter weight than your 3 to 5 rep max on your normal deadlift. And if you're holding out your grip okay on your normal deadlift, or that it's slipping by rep 6 out of a 10 rep max on the Romanian, I'm going to think that maybe there's something going on with your peripheral nervous system. I think that's a dead giveaway. That's a dead giveaway that your peripheral nervous system is giving out. Now, if it's the chalk or the lack of mixed grip, there's your better explanation. But if you're doing those things and you're finding that on your rep work like that, that your grip is giving out, it's because you have beat up your peripheral nervous system. You've been taking sets to failure on your pulling exercises. You've been grinding deadlifts, using shitty form to grind out a deadlift, where you've been rowing to failure. Something like that. One of these other pulling exercises that uses the upper back, you've been grinding them out. You've been doing reps to failure, forced reps, bad form to cheat the final reps or two. That's what's going on. This is a dead giveaway. Your peripheral nervous system is fatigued and it's not recovering enough because you're doing things that you really shouldn't do. And what I want to remind people, when it comes to getting stronger, training to failure isn't necessary for strength. In fact, training to failure isn't necessary for hypertrophy either. Here's what the experts will tell you who study this stuff, and athletes study this stuff in the lab. The reason training to failure can be a benefit is because it gets people to the fatigue that they need to be at, who suck at understanding their body. All right, people who don't have good body awareness, who aren't aware of their strength levels, what we usually find is that if you go 90% effort, 90% to failure, which means on a 10 rep max, if your 10th rep would be failure, stopping on rep 9, only doing 9 reps. And that's the thing, if you get within 1 to 2 reps of true failure, you will actually stimulate maximum upper threshold fibers, you will stimulate maximum fatigue, you will stimulate muscle growth. The problem is that at least half of lifters never develop that mind-body awareness to know when they're that close to failure. They don't ever develop it. So accordingly, if they don't go to failure, they can't really tell. Their 10 rep max, they might stop on rep 6, in which case they're not stimulating maximum muscle growth. But we need to remember, maximum strength doesn't require you quite to do that. Maximum strength is a matter of just doing enough tonnage, using good speed, good power, good technique over and over and over. That will develop strength as long as there's progressive overload there without you actually pushing sets to the bleeding edge. It just isn't necessary. And so if you're trying to get stronger on all these big exercises, one of the things you're going to notice is that if you've been grinding out too much and your peripheral nervous system is fatigued in those areas, your grip strength will be one of the first things it gives out. And it's because your nervous system won't let you hold on to the weight because it's afraid you're going to injure yourself. Meaning it knows that it's fatigued, and when you're fatigued, form breaks down. It gets sloppy. You have a higher chance of hurting yourself. Your nervous system is making you let go of the bar, and it's making your grip strength crap out because it's worried you're going to hurt yourself because you're pushing certain things beyond its recovery. And this is a way to prevent you from getting hurt. So if you can't grip a weight anymore that's going to hurt you, potentially hurt you, you can't hurt yourself because you can't pick it up. This is your body's way of preventing you from getting hurt. It's a good thing. So if you're having this problem and you're getting into these sets, a weight that you know that you could do for 10 reps and your grip is giving out by rep 6, that's a sign that you're doing this exercise with a fatigued nervous system, that your peripheral nervous system is far too fatigued. You're not training properly, you're not recovering properly, and this is your body giving you a warning sign. It's not doing it as a warning sign to you. Pain is a warning sign to you that your body gives you. But this is something that you should be able to read, and this is your body stopping you from lifting the weight. But it's doing so to keep you from being hurt. And if you're intelligent, you're going to look at that and say, okay, I need to change what I'm doing. Something's wrong. This is a problem. If I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm either not going to recover or I'm going to get hurt. Time to reevaluate your training workloads, time to reevaluate your programming, time to start looking at deloads more, time to figure out what you're doing that's causing you to exceed your maximum recoverable volume on all of your pulling exercises, because that's what's going on here. You are simply not recovering, and that's why your grip is giving out. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.